All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Khalid Talk. Now, all my life, and I'm sure many of your lives, you grew up with parents and adults who always were on you about the appropriate way to act. I remember once stealing a pack of gum, and my father took me back to that store, and he was ashamed of me and gave that. I gave that pack back. He called out the manager, told him what I had done, made me give the manager the pack back and apologize, earn money to pay for it, and I got a whooping when I get home, because the mores and laws and beliefs that they were handed down by this society made them be strict on us, because if we were going to be anything, it was going to be law-abiding citizens. Many of us, if you lie, you'll steal. If you steal, you'll kill. We used to hear that all the time. We had people that invest. We were raised by people, for the most part, by and large, by people who had bought into the idea that if you do these things, this country will accept you. If you act this way, you'll be out of danger. If you stay away from this, you won't have any problems with the police. We know that that is not true. We know that that is not true. We can understand oftentimes justice is meted out harder against us. But now imagine a situation where we have bought into the mores and norms and ideas of this country, which are supposed to protect us, and they don't have to pay attention to them. And they don't have to do them. We have bought into everything they said in the attempt to good our way into acceptance, to behave our way into acceptance, to learn our way into acceptance, to work our way into acceptance. Right now, there are two systems. One, it's not based on anything. It's not economics. Poor white people do better than poor black people in the court system. They do better almost anywhere. Poor white people do better than poor black people at the bank. So that's just the way it is. But right now, we're talking about justice and nobody is above the law. We see right now where President of the United States incited a riot on TV, and 45 Republicans said it wasn't even worthy of being adjudicated. We shouldn't even have this thing. There were in the Congress, before there was an impeachment, there were dozens of them involved in the insurrection. We have accounts of congressmen taking some of the people who would be rioters on tours and telling people where they were, knowing they were complicit in the insurrection. Then we have two senators, Josh Hughley and Ted Cruz, who will be jurors in the impeachment trial. Jurors. These two were directly involved in the insurrection. Directly. Matter of fact, both their newspapers, Ted Cruz, every major newspaper in the state of Texas has said he's unfit for office and he should be out. Josh Hughley, two major newspapers in Missouri said the same thing, and Danforth, who was a prominent Republican, said it is the worst mistake of his life, supporting him. So everybody sees how craven they are. Everybody sees how complicit they are. But these two men get to sit on the trial to decide the guilt of the President of the United States. That would be as if I robbed a bank, you helped me rob it, and then you got to sit on the jury. Black people have invested by a law. We were taught by people who told us to obey the law. We were taught by people that had respect for the law. And now we see more and more that more and more America is a place where people do not pay attention to the law. You have the most powerful people on the face of the earth breaking the law in plain sight, and nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to them. This man actually said out of his mouth that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and he would still have his supporters. He was responsible, and his words and actions are responsible for 6 deaths, and he still has supporters. And those supporters, those people who are complicit with him, now get to weigh on his guilt or innocence. And that is in truth the duality of America. My mother and father bought into that, even though I didn't. Listen, I was raised right, I acted wrong. They were raised right and still acted wrong, and they get away with it in front of the world. Don't talk to me about justice reform. Talk about justice applying for every single person. It should be irrespective of person. And if somebody breaks the law on a security camera, they take their ass to jail. If somebody breaks their law in front of the cameras of the world, they too should be adjudicated. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It is the D.L. Hughley Show.